Greetings and welcome to this video. We got a super cool tool I recommend for the garage. We're going to be reviewing it and I'm going to show you how this puppy works. For a cool 25 bucks, it's definitely a recommended tool to have around the house in the garage and whatnot. So let's get started. This is what it looks like out of the box. And by the way, I'll put links down in the description below for some entry-level ones like this that are really good quality, as well as some upper scale ones if you want something a little fancier. But this is what it is. It's called an endoscope, and these used to be primarily for medical devices. If you needed a knee scope, for example, they've got obviously things like this that are medical grade, right? You're not putting this one in your knee, but anyway, they relatively recently came out with these on the market, and they're pretty cool. I think the technology is probably getting nothing but better. But it's got this little unit on the back. It connects by Wi-Fi to your phone. We'll be doing that. We're going to be testing it too. It's got these little hook. There's a hook, a magnet, and a right angle, like a mirror piece on there. It's got a rechargeable battery, so that's we'll get into all that a little later, but let's go ahead and get it fired up right now. But we need to charge the battery first, right? And so it takes, I don't know, an hour or so to charge up. It's got a red light indicating it is charging, and the flexible tube can just kind of sit like that and hang out for a little bit. Meanwhile, this is the app. We're gonna get that installed on our phone, and I'll show you around that here pretty soon as well. These are the magnet, the mirror, and the hook that I was referring to earlier, and we're gonna screw each one of these on. The coolest one, I think, is this one, the magnet. So you can actually utilize the camera with the magnet attached to it, and it's a pretty powerful magnet. So if you've got anything metal that you need to retrieve from like a drain, yeah, we're going to be doing that in this video. So stay tuned. I'll show you how we can actually retrieve a piece of metal from a drain. That could very much be handy for you. So it's charged up. Let's turn it on, and we're going to open up the Wi-Fi app. So we're going to connect our phone to the actual Wi-Fi. It has its own Wi-Fi setting, so it's super easy to do, and you can also control the resolution. This is what it looks like streaming through the phone. So don't expect great resolution when it streams through your phone, but it's good enough, I assure you. This is a picture that it just took, so it's got a picture and a recording feature. Now, again, this is another shot through the phone. I just screen grabbed it. You can see it recording there. And once you've recorded it, you can open up the app and you can actually play back the video that you just saw. So that's really handy. Now, this is without the screen capture. This is the actual file downloaded and played back for you. So it's not, looking at it through the screen. This is the actual file that's saved onto your device. So it's pretty good quality. It's not crystal clear by any means, but we're gonna be using this just to kind of poke underneath our sliding screen door. Have you ever taken a peek under there? Probably not. It's kind of cool, and you could slide that down as deep as it'll go, as long as you've got an opening that will accommodate the diameter of the end of the endoscope. You will be able to stick that pretty much anywhere, and including like under the fridge. If you need to look at your water line for your water dispenser on your fridge door, you can kind of poke down there. That's the white tube. And you can follow that to see, if you've got like a blockage or something, or hey, you want to look how dirty your underneath your fridge is. Oh gosh, look at that. That definitely needs to be cleaned out. So it's got a really powerful LED light on the end of it. And so in absolute darkness, you will be able to see, obviously depending on how big the space is, it won't light up a room. But, if you're sliding it into a dark space, it will light it up really easily without issue. So another use would be popping this down into your duct to see, I don't know, maybe you've got some kids that have dropped toys or food or something down there and you can't quite get the right angle. You can definitely poke that down there and take a look around. So really cool, endless possibilities here. Take a look inside of our door. When was the last time you looked inside of a door? Well, that's kind of what it looks like, assuming it's hollow, of course. You might have solid doors, but you get the point. We've got a wire hole that I drilled, a couple of years ago. And we could poke through there if we've got a wall and we need to see inside the wall. So I'm using my phone to just kind of guide it and push it. And now it doesn't have the ability to turn right angles. For that, you would need the mirror piece, and we'll get that put on here in a second. So you can just pretty much, push it straight. You can go through holes, go through walls, and kind of look around. Once it's in the wall, again, you can't turn the camera. It doesn't have like a rotate function. So you'll have to actually bend the piece before you put it into the wall. So that's a downside, but I'm not sure, I don't even think that technology exists yet. Can you rotate it remotely, left and to the right, up and down? So I do put that piece in my pocket. You don't want it slinging around, banging into things. So it's slightly awkward to be holding, depending on how long of a cord you buy, or camera. The actual they come in different lengths, right? This one's relatively short. I didn't need a super long one, and keep in mind, if you do have a super long, you can't push it with much. The longer it is, the more difficulty you'll have pushing it into and having control over where it goes if you push it into really long spaces, if that makes sense. But you'll have to make that determination yourself. But it's great for looking behind walls or behind things to look at wires. For example, you don't have to pull everything out to make sure your stereo wires are connected correctly. So that's a great practical utilization. Make sure things are plugged in correctly. Now, let's get these ends booted up, and we're going to put them to the test. So it comes with 3 different pieces, and they just screw on and screw off, okay? We've got a general cap to protect the threads, so we'll get rid of that. And first we're going to be putting on the right angle unit. Now I'm doing this with one hand, so it's a bit awkward to screw on, but you get the point. So check this out. This is the mirror. It's called a mirror, but it basically acts as a right angle. So you can, if you've got a really awkward space like a keyhole, you can put it inside the keyhole, and then it will actually give you an image to the direct 90-degree left or right, depending on where you have it rotated. So you can see my actual finger there holding the end of it. So it kind of bounces, reflects the image back like a mirror does, right? So you can actually see the sides of something going in, which is a cool, useful, I think, feature if you're dealing with awkward spaces and you need to see something shooting off directly to the right or to the left. So that is the mirror feature, or the mirror tip. Let's give you a better example and put it into that door that we were looking at a little earlier. So this is what it looks like going in. And again, you can see that 90-degree image. So that certainly has some practical uses, I think. Let's go to the hook now. And because I don't have any wires that I'm actually looking to actively fish through the wall, I won't be doing that. But let's use this carbon monoxide detector, for example. Imagine you need to hardwire it in and you have access to the ceiling. You could go up into the ceiling, do your wiring and then drop it down, and then basically slide this up through your hole behind your carbon monoxide detector, snag the wire and bring it down. And you would be able to visually do that. That's what's different about it compared to just a regular wire, right? It's got a camera on it that feeds an image to your phone, so you can get it with accuracy in theory. And the next one, my favorite one, is the magnet. Let's test this out. You saw it earlier attaching to the refrigerator. Very powerful little magnet. I've got this mouse. You remember that game Mousetrap? It's got 2 very heavy, dense balls. So basically, we've got one of these here, my kid's Mousetrap set, and you can see it moves that magnet from about an inch, a little bit less than an inch. Yeah, maybe a half to 3/4 of an inch away. So it's got enough power to do that, which means if you're fishing this down into a drain, you can come about that close to it and it'll magnetize and activate. And you can kind of shake it and it's not coming off. So I'm definitely impressed with the strength of the magnet. Now, for demonstration purposes, we're gonna get it kind of stuck right there. Imagine your kid drops something metal, and now you don't need the camera for this. You can just use the magnet tip. So that's nice. And so you can't get it with your fingertip, right? It's pretty much irretrievable. But the magnet, boom. So there's a practical application for you. And let's take it a step further. Imagine you've got a drain that's actually pretty deep. I'm going to take out the plug and we're going to drop this thing all the way down. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Bombs away. It is going deep. And let's take a look down there. This is our bathroom faucet. We've got the no clog drain, so they easily remove for cleaning purposes. Highly recommended, but that's another story. So where did that ball go? It dropped all the way down here, and it is sitting in the P-trap down there. So we are going to be fishing this out. Now, drains are pretty nasty, and one thing I noticed, because I really had never used this before, this is my new tool, is that, oh gosh, it's getting pretty gross. It's all slimy and nasty down there over time, and you could certainly clean that out. That's another story, I think. But one little tip here, if you're doing this, get some construction paper, some old wrapping paper, heavy duty, you know, nothing like tissue. You don't want it dissolving or anything. You want it heavy enough. And watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to tighten this up as much as I can, put a little tape on it, just so it's less than, and it cones upwards, so it won't get stuck or fall down there. And this will provide safe passage, clean passage for the endoscope. So the paper takes the hit in terms of gross, dirty stuff, but my endoscope, at least the sides of it, the tip will obviously be kind of gross, but it'll save you a lot of trouble later to clean it. And the tip is waterproof, so the camera does handle water. There's limitations to it, so you'll want to read the instructions to make sure you don't exceed those limitations, which include depth and duration. So keep that in mind. But as far as looking into a P-trap, no problem at all. You can see the light activating down there, and we're trying to pull up that ball. And so this is what it looks like being fed through. Don't expect a clear image on your phone if you're looking at dirty water, right? I don't care how much you spend on one of these, that's not going to be a clear image. But eventually you can see here it's pulling out the ball. The camera is recording that as I pull that out through the PVC drain pipe. So that is working. Obviously, if you hit it on the side really hard or you got to shake it, it might drop and fall back out. That happened to me a couple of times, but moral of the story here is that we successfully were able to retrieve that using the magnetic feature. So if you've got some metal jewelry or something and you hear about that from time to time, that could be a great practical application. And then, like I said, we're going to clean that off. And as far as storage goes, they've got these built-in Velcro things, which is cool. So you're not dealing with this unkept wire, and so you basically tighten it up, put those out, there's 2 of them, and you put the tips back in. Clean it first, of course, as best you can, rinse it, wipe it down, and should be good to go.